All right. I don't know if I should be looking at the camera or if I should be looking at you. We are testing something out that's new, guys. We're doing a brand new intro for this channel because we've been doing kind of like the logo animation and then kind of me the same yo, what's good, everybody? And I kind of want to break up the monotony and kind of intro every channel or every video new in a new way.
Ooh, yeah.
I didn't know how to word that.
We just want to be a little bit new, fresh, and something that's a little bit different. You already said break up the monotony, right?
Yeah. And by the way, this is the second time we do this intro because Chuck forgot to record the video for the first time.
But we recorded the audio, so if you want to hear that, Keem fucked up his words like 20 times in the beginning.
But anyways, today we got Dana Anderson in the house, and as you guys can see, because he is not sitting in his chair yet, we're here a little bit early. We kind of want to talk about what are your hopes to talk about in this episode, man? Because I know what I want to ask is I want to ask like how he got started with all the work that he does. Because actually, you know what? I should do that because I didn't do it. I did it in the original, but I didn't do it yet. Read the bio for who he is.
Yeah, read the bio real quick.
Dana Anderson is the co-founder of the ISI Group, Industry Supporting Industry, an independent arts and entertainment company established in 2011, focusing its efforts on custom, large-scale mural work for home and business, as well as producing original events showcasing local artists, musicians, DJs, dancers, and more.
That's so dope.
Yeah, so pretty much, man, for those who kind of like don't understand what I just said, is he does large murals, which is like kind of like, man, I might be butchering this. I don't know if it's graffiti. You know what I mean? It's not graffiti, it's art.
We did look up the definition of mural, and it's painting on a wall. That's basically what it is. So I guess like maybe what I'm hoping to learn from him is what he did in the past, like, and if he has any history on graffiti. I don't even know what the term graffiti comes from either.
Yeah. He looks like he's got a pretty interesting background, man. But before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you have not yet.
Please.
And smash that like button. Yo, you guys should have seen the first intro we did. I kept trying to say throw a banana at that like button, and I butchered it so bad that it sounded weird.
He was like, and then he said, like literally.
I was talking so fast that I was like, blah, blah. But anyways, yeah. Without further ado, we present Dana Anderson.
Thank y'all for tuning in.
Boom. There you go. Stop. Oh my God, bro.
Every time I come in the kitchen, you in the kitchen, in the goddamn refrigerator. I sure am hungry.
I hope you guys like that new intro. It's fresh tomatoes. What up, Dana?
What's up, guys? How's it going?
That's kind of the way I'm introing these episodes now.
That was really good.
Fresh tomatoes.
Fresh tomatoes.
Dana Anderson.
Better than rotten tomatoes.
So people already kind of know who you are and what you do because I kind of gave like an intro before you got here. But just if you had to give like an elevator pitch real quick, like what is your background?
Okay, my name is Dana Anderson. I am the co-creator of Industry Supporting Industry, or ISI Group, with my business partner, Philip Lamone. We primarily do live art and independent art and entertainment events and mural work. So we do a lot of custom buildings and walls for businesses, restaurants, bars, casinos, whatever it may be. Client relations,
And it's 100% legal.
You mean as far as what we paint?
Well, yeah, because the thing is, we are kind of ignorant to the whole like painting kind of world. So when I saw what you were doing, and we talked about this in the intro, it's kind of like we saw you like painting on walls, and it's like, but this is stuff that you're getting paid for, right?
Yeah,
this is stuff that is like
it's commission work.
Commission work. There we go.
I'm a consultant. So basically the client will reach out to ISI Group based on the previous works that we've done and the community that we've built and the name that we've built, reputation that we've built for ourselves. So we get reached out to by different entities and they want XYZ or whatever. And a lot of them don't know what they want.
Yeah.
Which is pretty much 90% of them. So it's kind of an interesting dynamic. A lot of people don't know exactly how ISI works and how the arts, all that thing kind of happens. But
right.
A lot of the time, it's behind the scenes with myself and Phil coming up with the concepts and making them come to fruition on the wall that's given to us. So it's like, I had a meeting today with a supplement company, like an herbal company, and not marijuana. But we have done a lot of stuff with cannabis community too. So. Well, we're down with that.
Yeah,
no. How long from the point when a client reaches out to you and goes, "Yo, we want to do this mural," even if they have an idea for it, like how long generally, or is it does it vary project to project? How long do you have to complete it or to work on it?
Yeah, it's super dependent on the project. For example, every now and then we'll do one that will take 6 months or something. It takes a super long time, and that's totally behind the scenes stuff, and that's usually stuff that doesn't even get to the artist's hands until the concept and has all been approved. So that we kind of are the mediary between the client and the artist, because a lot of the artists don't have that wherewithal to market themselves that way and want to deal with the back and forth with corporate people, which is it's very tiresome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Same with having the right insurances and all those little things that you have to hoops you have to jump
It's the
through.
part of the business that a
Yeah.
lot of artists don't want to
business
deal with.
side.
Yeah, and there's a lot, and
Yeah.
there's definitely a lot of that, but every now and then we get a nice and simple one. Like literally yesterday, myself and Brett Rosepeiler, which is an artist that works with us a lot, painted at Herbally Grounded, which is a natural herbal store, and they hit me up on like Monday, like not this Monday, last Monday. And they were like, we want some sunflowers behind our booth, and we were like, all right, dope. Drew it up, boom, done, painted it out last night. So that sometimes that happens, and it's super easy, and the client knows what they want, or they're very, very willing to bend and like listen to us, and then it's easy. But sometimes it's not like that. Sometimes you deal with a lot of back and forth and a lot of like uncertainty.
Like,
So
have you ever done a piece and they said, "Oh no, I don't like this. Reset
It's
it."
only happened once. It's only happened
that's tight.
once. Yeah,
That's
it's only
tight.
happened once, and we've been doing murals since 2014. We started in 2011, but we started doing murals we did the Link Mural Project at the Link. I don't know if you guys ever saw that.
I saw the video.
Yeah, so the Link Mural Project was really, really dope. It was 23 walls we started out with. So at the time we were doing the Brooklyn Bowl. We were doing auction shows there. So we had live artists painting for auctions, and the auction proceeds went directly to the artists. And then we'd have like different bands on stage, local bands and DJs and whatever it would be. Excuse me. And the VP over there at the time was John Gray, which is now back to being the president or vice president at the Palms, which is doing all the dope shit at the Palms right now.
Yeah.
He's a rad guy, and he wanted us to do something on the promenade. He's like, we need to, let's do some canvas stuff down here. Let's just bring some of these live painters and kind of put them down the promenade and give people something to watch. And at the time, they had the big archways there because it was previous to a lot of the businesses being open. This is like when Link was pretty new. So there was like Brooklyn Bowl and a few other flagships, but a lot of empty space. And they were just archways, and they were purple and blue, and they said the Link on them, like little,
Yeah.
We're like, why don't we paint these instead? And they were just like, whoa, like you can do that. And I was like, fuck yeah, we definitely can do that, And that was just a moment that we saw the right opportunity kind of unfolded in front of us, and they gave us a shot. They didn't sign anything first. They were like, okay, well, let's do one. We did two in one night. We had two artists on one and two artists on the other live in the middle of the promenade, and we had it like more of like a spectacle. We allowed it. We wanted people to watch, what I mean? The live element of it. And there was, a couple hundred people out there watching. And so the VP was like, damn, we have something here, So we created a proposal and did all that kind of thing. And I think that was our first big step into like creating something and branding something. Like we gave it the name, and we created the way it worked. There was 23 walls originally, which is a lot. And we did one a week. So we started at the bottom, we did one, boom, 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 all the way up. And then once we got to the top, it would take about 3 months or so. Once we got to the top, we'd start over. So we did that 6 times. So we did like 200 different walls.
Damn.
And they were with all different artists. A lot of them were local. We did all local at first. And then we were just like, like we have this now. We kind of have the run of it. We know how to do it. We know now we have the door open. Let's bring in some people that we really like, that we want to work with, which is rad. That's really rare now because it's just more difficult now. When you have something set in stone like that, and you can project like, okay, well, this wall's coming up in a month. You know what I mean? We can plan it well. Now it's like, now I don't have that luxury all the time. Every now and then we'll get a project that will be like that, where we can plan it and really like do it the proper way. But right now it's more of like, get one, bang it out. Get one, bang it out. You know what I mean? And just keep building that portfolio and showing people that we can kind of do everything. You know what I mean?
Now
the Link project was absolutely amazing. That was a game changer for sure.
And I want to talk about that, but before we get carried away, what I want to do is coming from two guys who don't know how to draw stick figures, bro. I want to talk
I don't draw stick. I don't really draw either.
I want to talk about how you decided to go down this route of doing murals. Like, I keep saying murals.
Yeah.
Murals.
What was it something when you were like a kid, you were like, walk around the city and you're like,
I like give a little backstory, I guess. Originally I'm from California. I'm from Southern California. I'm from Chino Hills.
Okay.
So I'm the youngest of 5. I have 3 brothers and 1 sister, all of which were huge influences on me. growing up, and mostly musically and I guess recreationally, like skateboarding and sports and stuff like that. So when at a young age, I was heavily around like heavy metal music and rock music and
Metallica.
Metallica was, Guns N' Roses was my favorite band when I was 4 years old. It's hilarious. I have videos of me like with I had a little silly mullet and I was rocking, dude.
Shout out to the mullet.
I wish I had a mullet.
Yeah, it was,
one.
and it's funny. It's funny looking back on stuff like that because you don't, obviously at the time and even into your later years, you don't realize how subconsciously those things affect your future and what you kind of come into, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So that was the early things in California. And then we moved to Salt Lake City. So I grew up 10 years in Salt Lake, and it's kind of funny because I'm actually from a Mormon family, but I'm not Mormon, but that we don't get into that. So I lived there for 10 years, and then I was heavily into skateboarding and punk rock music. My brother was a punk drummer, my brother Brad. So I was going to punk shows when I was like 8 to like 12. I was in the back I was like sitting behind the drummer. My brother was a drummer. Kind of being watched by all his friends,
That's dope.
making sure I didn't run in the pit because I wanted to, you're a kid, you're like, this looks fun. I mean, at that point, people, they knew who I was. They would have watched out for me, but, so that heavily influenced my what I was into. So I saw a lot of that fashion and that rebel, attitude. And then from that, I really started getting into skateboarding, and skateboarding is really what launched my love for art. Skateboarding it completely created who I am, in my opinion. It's such a cultural revolution, and it really, once you're in it takes over your what you know what I mean, completely.
The skateboard culture is pretty massive. I know Chuck skateboards too,
bro. Because
the
whole thing, like me, it's same with me. It molded my whole life because I skated like most of my younger years. You know what I mean? But musically, fashion, people, the artists,
100%.
the people you hang around, and then just watching those skate videos, they were so creative.
100%.
And the music too. The music was so dope.
I agree. I mean, I think that the only real hip hop that I ever got heavily into was Tribe Called Quest, and they were in a lot of skate videos. I was heavily influenced by what I was listening to and when I was watching stuff. So, that was something that I definitely grew my portfolio of discography and music.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
shout out to Tony Hawk.
Yeah. Shout out to everything.
Dope music.
Yeah, all the videos,
Classic.
From the classics
like
to
Sorry,
to
right.
Yeah, I mean, even to go back like Search for Animal Chin and the real beginning Bronze Brigade videos that like
any blind video.
Yeah, if you're a skateboarder and you haven't seen the original old school like 80s videos, you need to watch them because they're so much fun.
The Gons.
It totally reminds you of like what skateboarding was originally about. Like now it's a little bit tainted in a way.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I think that the progression of it in the Olympics and all that is like, 'cause now it's an Olympic sport now.
Yeah, I love that.
Kind of fucking crazy, but I think that's dope. There's a lot of skateboarders. Skateboarders are such a subculture, They're similar.
The furthest I ever went with skating is, you remember those tech decks, bro?
Oh yeah.
Yes, man.
Dude,
That's as far as I went.
I love those. I love
They're
those.
still around, right?
Oh,
They're still
hell
making-
yeah.
Yeah, kids are killing it.
I'm pretty sure, man. You know how like sports were a thing, and then it was like esports. Pretty sure that's gonna be like the next big thing.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
should have been.
sports was funny for me. I mean, I feel like I was always good at sports, but I guess I didn't like necessarily the team dynamic and like the I guess the ultra like competitiveness to it. Skateboarding spoke to me on a much more individual level, and I think that has a lot to do with me being like an entrepreneur now and working for myself and creating my income and creating like the things that I'm constantly doing. Like I'm coming up with concepts daily and working through new projects, and like each one is a little accomplishment, and that's how skateboarding was. You'd make when I was filming a video or something, I'd make a trick list, and I would go back to this list and be like, fuck, I didn't do this trick yet, and like I would focus on those little things, and those were little accomplishments. And I think that's a thing that a lot of people overlook on the scale of goals. People put goals like really huge goals, It's like it's not necessarily about that goal. It's like you're gonna do 25 more things before you get to that goal. So if you focus on these little achievements and little accomplishments, and that's what I think skateboarding taught me that a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I was editing videos and filming, and that taught me a lot of, I guess, art outside of the normal of painting or drawing. And it taught me how to look at the world completely differently. You know what I mean? Skateboarding is the world's your canvas. You literally look at, like, I still do it every day. I'm sure you still do it.
Yeah, me too. I
every
always
day.
do. I'm like, that's a dope spot.
I love it. I love it so much. I still catch myself like pulling into a parking lot. I actually did it today. I saw down the street or whatever. Doesn't matter where it was. I saw a handrail and I was like, damn, I've never seen that before. I pulled in just to look at it. You know what I mean? Because I still got a lot of homies that skate and kill it that I will take a picture of it and I'll send it to him.
Like, go to this spot, bro.
Yeah,
dude.
like,
I gotta keep it real, man.
I love that.
I don't think I could ever skate just because of. You remember the show on MTV, bro, where they would show like the accidents?
Oh yeah.
What was it called? Like the freak accident, bro. I forgot what it was. Yeah, whatever it was called.
No, there was
man.
like one that like just straight up showed bales.
It focused straight up on skateboarding and like doing all these like jumps, bro.
Like I was like, I'm Jacoby or something like that.
The bone hanging out.
Yeah, that's gnarly, man. I mean,
I don't like holla. What is it? Holla meat.
Holla meat.
I don't
Thrasher.
like watching those. I stopped watching them after I seen one. I was like, yeah, I'm good.
And that's another thing that influenced me artistically was Thrasher magazine. I had the Phelps.
Shout out Thrasher magazine.
R.I.P. Phelps.
Yeah, Phelps, and I had Thrasher subscription for years and years, and I just would look through that thing religiously. You know what I mean? And even the layouts and the artists that they focused in there, and like, you know, different things like that influenced my thought process and then all that. And then in a later time, I got heavily into tattooing because I was around a lot of like the heavy metal hardcore music when I came here, and then I ended up being in like a metal band. I was a singer of a metal band, so
nice.
That fucked my voice up.
So you have pipes then, what you're saying?
Not anymore.
So you say you're gonna sing a little something for us right now on the Morning Dinner podcast.
That's basically what it sounded like.
Oh wait, you talking about like the screamo?
It was like death metal. It's like more like a heavy metal.
Shout out to
it was more
hardcore
like some
music.
deep shit. It was some more deep heavy shit, which is still 99% of what I listen to.
Dang.
And it's funny because I was thinking about this recently. Like it's cool when you get to a point in your life that you no longer like need influence of what you're into. Like you just are into what you're into.
Yeah,
whenever I don't hang out. I literally don't hang out with one person that listens to the same music as me. My brother listens to it, and my good friend in Salt Lake City listens to it, and a few people that I keep in contact with, like social media wise, stuff like that. But my daily life, not at all.
Yeah.
Like no one, you know, and it doesn't even matter because it's already there for me.
Yeah.
I already listened to it, you know. So like my Instagram feed is like heavy music, skateboarding, graffiti, and tattoos. That's basically mostly what I look at every day. You know what I mean? Those are the things that influence a lot of my thought process and the things that I put together. So
at what point did you decide, you know, you're being influenced by the skateboard culture, by tattoo, or the tattoo industry, you know, and all that good stuff? What point did you decide that you want to move to Vegas and you see Vegas as your canvas?
Well, so what happened was my parents ended up moving here when I was like 17.
Okay.
So at that time I was just like kind of like I feel like I was pretty different than where I went to Foothill High School in Henderson. And at the time I moved here, I had like shoulder length, like maybe a little less than shoulder length black hair, and I had my septum pierced and like wore tight pants, and like it was just kind of funny, you know. I was very different than the kids that were there, and I feel like somehow I was a little bit ahead of the curve because like the next year or whatever, it was like really,
Everybody started doing
it was
that.
really popular, and it was kind of odd for me because at first it was like, you know, the friends that I came in contact with were mostly more into like the poppier, like pop punk type stuff, or like or hip hop, and they were like, "Man, what is this screaming shit?" You know, and I'm like, "Give it like a year," you know what I mean? And then they all got crazy into it. So that led me into like the hardcore scene, like the heavy scene, and that's led me into tattooing. So then the tattooing side of things, I saw all my friends and friends of friends getting tattooed, and it really piqued my interest. But I feel like I was like cautious about it. You know, a lot of people jump right into getting tattooed and they get covered and shit really fast. And
we've seen some pretty bad ones, bro.
Yeah,
Oh man,
oh
we've
yeah,
seen some
100.
terrible
I believe I see them on the daily.
That shit has me dying.
Yo, there's this one, bro, that you showed me.
Oh yeah.
There's some good pages you can follow out there that are just bad tattoos. Yeah.
No, I've never seen one this bad.
Oh
One
yeah,
that
I
Chuck
showed him
me.
one, and it was a homie.
I'm not gonna say who.
No, we ain't gonna say the name, but I was just like, oh my god, bro! Like, how do you even think that's tight?
That's
Like,
hilarious.
that just looks, yeah.
I mean, some people.
This is a regular dude looking
what's
like
kind of-
Leatherface.
What's kind of ironic is that a lot of the skate culture has gotten into like really like homemade like shitty tattoos, and it's popular.
No.
Like they're cool with it. Like it's,
What?
Yeah, they're
so
cool.
it's kind of like the whole Insane Clown Posse thing, right? So it's like how
I
they
mean-
got into that for like rap or whatever.
Shit, I can't speak on ICP. I have no idea. All I know is I saw ICP at like Hemp Fest or whatever a couple years ago, and it was amazing.
Really?
It was so.
I heard they were the nicest.
It was so entertaining.
I heard like
Juggalos?
I heard the Juggalos were like the nicest people, bro. Like
Man,
they were like
they're accepting. They're recruiting. They're recruiting, man. No, I was kidding. Yeah. So the tattooing thing, I was heavily around a lot of people that were getting tattooed, and it kind of made me research tattooing because I wanted to get tattooed too, but I wanted to get good tattoos. So I started doing a lot of, and this was previous to like, you know, Instagram, which is like the best art thing that's ever happened social media wise. nowadays you can find anybody anywhere. That's amazing. You know, there's amazing tattooers everywhere now. But you know, about 15 years ago or so, it was a little more difficult. It was a little more Google searching, and you're finding people in other states that you're trying to save money for and all this kind of thing. You know what I mean? And that really piqued my interest. And then that still didn't get me into doing any art production or doing shows with artists. After that, I got into promoting nightlife type stuff. So I worked for the Palms Casino, and I worked for the Ghost Bar. This was, I don't even know, 2009 or something like that.
Oh, damn,
2008 or something. Yeah, it was fun, it was really fun. And that got me into the kind of like the production side of knowing that I can bring people somewhere. It kind of taught me. And the reason the reason that came to be is because I used to do house parties. You know, I used to throw parties, and I had a lot of friends. I had I was friends with every clique. You know what I mean? Like I just treat people the way that I want to be treated. So I'm friends with, you know, skaters and just random people, you know. So like I did a big house party one day, and some people from the Palms ended up being there, and they hired me. So
Ooh,
so
nice.
I did this party. I just did help them with their Wednesdays party there. It used to be called Snitch Wednesdays.
I remember that.
Which is the worst name ever. I tried to get them to change the name. It's just such a negative name. I don't believe in naming. I don't name anything with a
Rat.
name.
Why is that negative name?
Snitch.
Oh, Snitch? I think it said Stitch.
Snitch.
No,
That's a terrible name.
Why would you do
Wednesdays.
that? Yeah, so
Rat Wednesday?
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, I was about to say.
yeah, correlating Snitch with rat. Yeah, so it still did really well, you know, regardless of the name. I worked with some really amazing people over there, Rachel Wenman and Shiloh Macy and you know, other people that were really influential. And so at that point I realized that, you know, I can get people here, and the reason that they brought me on is that they wanted like more of a downtown, like, I guess if you want to say like hipper demographic, you wanted like the younger, like tattooed or like edgier people. So that's what I was bringing them. And then I was like, man, I want to do a tattoo show here. I want to kind of elevate, bring a tattoo shop and do it like once a month and give them a booth and put all the screens, put all their tattoos on the screen, put their business cards everywhere, and really kind of help them get a whole new clientele. You know what I mean? And it never ended up happening, but the reason that I ended up meeting my business partner, Philip Lamone, there, he came there with someone completely different, and he ran Cornerstone Art Gallery at the time. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Cornerstone.
That sounds so familiar.
Cornerstone was on the corner of Colorado and
Isn't
Casino
it still
Center.
there?
It's not there anymore. It's right next to Raw Remedies, where they do like soul sessions and stuff.
Yeah.
So Soul Sessions, they took over the property when we left it.
Oh, okay.
So we had Cornerstone for like 7 years. And
we know the area.
And it was, we had a mini ramp in the back. It was all covered in graffiti. It was all tattoo and
I skated that mini ramp.
Yeah, the metal one. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was our ramp. Yeah, the thing was so cool.
Hey, shit.
Yeah, I think it was fun. And we ended up selling that and whatever, moving on. But he came to the Palms, and he was with a mutual friend or something, and they said, you know, this is Phil. He runs Cornerstone, and I knew what Cornerstone was at that time. And I was like, yo, let me get you a drink. I grabbed him. We went and got a drink, and I kind of told him my concept of bringing that kind of lowbrow, what they call it is lowbrow art, which a lot of people frown upon.
Why is it called lowbrow?
Lowbrow is like highbrow would be like snooty, like expensive.
Got it.
Lowbrow is like tattoo, graffiti, like street,
Shit.
more real, which is ironic because now it is.
So the Mona Lisa would be highbrow.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so lowbrow, and a lot of people frown upon that title, but we always kind of embraced it. You know what I mean? Like I don't see that there's an issue with that. And if you really look at the cultural, like the things that are culturally impactful, it's always the street, and it's always the people that are a little bit under the highbrow. The highbrow wants to be what
you want to know what would be
is.
dope to see is like the Mona Lisa, bro, with all those face tattoos.
I'm sure it's out there.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Damn.
Probably somebody.
I thought it was an original idea.
I bet someone's got that tattooed on their face.
That'd be dope. Well, I don't know about their face,
You
but
can't
Hey,
get it.
I would
I
never
don't know
doubt
how
it.
I feel about face tattoos, man. I mean, 100% like to each their own. Like
Yeah.
everyone has the right to express themselves,
100%.
however. But like at some point, like, you know, if you do face tattoos, like you gotta find a way to make a profession.
No lie.
Out of that.
I love face tattoos
you know-
and head tattoos because I'm like, damn, that's tight, bro. Like,
Do you have any tattoos?
No.
Do either of you guys have any tattoos?
Nope.
You guys are like the minority, and your friends, it's like impossible.
Yeah. Yeah, right. No, dude, everyone I've worked with, like
Yeah.
in photography, has always got tattoos. Like it's just, it's an art thing. You know what I mean? I think I'm just more like traditional.
Yeah, you know it's kind of funny because a lot of the reason why that we wanted to do art shows it was mostly tattooers to begin with is because we were always frequently tattoo shops and seeing their booths. You guys probably haven't even been in tattoo shops because you don't have tattoos.
I've been in a tattoo
filmed
shop.
tattoo
Yeah, I
shops.
filmed
So
them.
okay,
Yeah.
so there you go. You see that the space itself is a very eclectic and is full of art.
I love it.
It's very bright
Yeah.
and lively, and it's like, damn, like who painted these? These are sick.
Yeah.
Usually it's the artist. And the thing is that people aren't seeing that art unless they're in the shop. You know what I mean? Unless they're coming to the shop or getting tattooed. So the concept was like, hey, if we bring tattooers out of the shop and have them paint in front of an audience that isn't used to this, it's going to be like, oh shit, like tattooers are artists first before being a tattooer. So that was a lot of the dynamic that we wanted to bring from that side of things. But the Palms, it never worked out of the Palms. A lot of it was because of the name Snitch, to be completely honest. A lot of people in the tattoo industry have been to prison.
Cool.
A lot of those people have, lived their life, and they're not going to be a part
correlate
of
with that word at all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it never happened there. And so what we did is we took it to Beauty Bar. So Beauty Bar is where ISI started.
And
So
when was this? Like
this was
2010?
2011. 2011. It was September 2011 was the first show we ever did, and it was a skull themed. So we did themes because it gives the artist something to paint towards. Sometimes when you give someone an open idea, like paint whatever you want,
they're like,
people don't know what to paint. People are like, well, fuck.
That's tight though. So you do like eagles or birds or
it depends
whatever.
on what it is. Different themes. And so we did skull because everyone has skull paintings already. You know what I mean? We're like, we're gonna do a gallery. We set up a gallery in the back of Beauty Bar with a grid wall and hung,
I always remember those.
people's
Those
paintings.
shit was so tight.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, those are awesome shows, man. And that was one of those things too. Is like, okay, well we can do this, and we had no business. There was no business plan at all. You know what I mean? And I don't even know if there is now.
I was gonna say, is Beauty Bar still open?
Beauty Bar is gone.
Oh, it's gone?
Yeah, Beauty Bar is gone. We had so much time. We were at Beauty Bar for a long time. We did a year of Beauty Bar there with the shows, and then we moved on to what was after that.
Was it Vegas Streets or any of that?
Vegas Streets was around the same time, a little bit later. I think the next year.
No, for those who are listening, it's
12?
Vegas Streets, STREATS.
Because
Right?
there was food trucks.
There was food trucks.
Food trucks.
Streets was dope.
I remember Rob used to shoot all those highlight videos. You remember? You know who Rob is?
I'm not sure.
Rob
Sayer.
Sayer.
I believe yes, I do. Yes,
That's the homie right there.
Yeah, Rob's dope. Yeah, and David was civilian, was doing a lot of the street. I think that was his. I'm not positive that was his thing, but I think it was his thing.
I remember seeing a lot of civilian tattoos logos everywhere.
Yeah. It was dope. That was a dope event. It was a good turn of cultural revitalization at that time.
I thought it was the tightest thing ever. I was like, yeah, this is so dope.
Yeah, I think that there was a lack of a lot of that kind of thing at that time. You know what I mean? I feel like now it's pretty prevalent. There's a lot of like art and culture and things everywhere, which is fantastic. But at that time it was a little
community
lacking.
Was really
it was lacking, and even Fremont Street. Holy shit! It was Beauty Bar in Griffin, I think, at that time. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Insert maybe? No, not that long ago.
No, Insert wasn't around yet. I don't think they came like
Vanguard
the next
wasn't
year.
around or anything.
Yeah, they came like the next year, I think. But I had bartended before at Beauty Bar, and I used to work for Sailor Jerry, the rum company. So I used to go to different bars and have relationships with the managers and that kind of thing. So I kind of brought Sailor Jerry on board with ISI, and we did like open bars and like that kind of thing at Beauty Bar. And then we ended up going on to curate all the art at Beauty Bar. So all the murals in the back and like all the wood panels were part of a show we did there called Off the Wall, which was a dope show. And the only reason why Off the Wall ended was because the bar closed. And it sucks to let go of a successful party because the bar closes. You know what I mean? You have your whatever you want to call it, your cultural impact or your footprint or whatever. And Off the Wall was really, really great show. And we had 3 artists that painted on stage every month, and those panels went on the wall. Well, actually, they were already on the wall, and they came off the wall and got repainted, and then went back on the wall. That's why it was called Off the Wall. And it was a b-boy dance show. We have a great relationship with the dance community here, and Arturo, which you guys, Arturo Cecilia is
Arturo.
amazing. He's amazing, man.
That's the homie.
Arturo he's the best host I've ever seen in my life.
Best.
He wants us to
without a doubt, man. He's incredible. We love working with Art, and he does a lot of stuff with us. He helps curate some of the shows. He helps book DJs and dance battles and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, he's a dope dude to know for sure.
Yeah, he wants us to do a live podcast, but like once we figure out how it's gonna work.
Yeah, you mean like on site?
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Podcast sucks. No,
that's interesting. I mean, that might be a little difficult and loud.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things is you'd have to figure out the logistics of it because I've seen them done, but you got to have like a PA system. You know what I mean? You got to have a way for everybody to be able to hear.
What could probably work is if we do like what are those SMBs? The Shure?
Yeah.
The $100 mics.
Yeah,
because I actually used them like
they're
right
pretty
near
good.
sound.
They're pretty good.
And like you could barely hear the speaker, and the speaker was like going right. Like it was right here.
I mean, it sounds like a cool concept.
Or
conceptually,
we have all the chairs with headphones underneath.
Oh,
and they put them on as they watch us, so it's like we're in their ear, bro.
I mean, they do. You could do this
like a silent disco.
Yeah.
That actually would be tight.
I just came up with that in the morning.
But I'm pretty sure.
I mean, you
a lot
could
of
do
people would be
something like
tired.
that. You could do something like that at like Inspire Theater or something, where it's you have a room where people are in attendance to watch what you're doing.
Yep.
You know, having an event with multi-sensory, like everything that we do is usually multi-sensory, being that there's live art, there's DJs, there's music, there's vendors, there's
Right.
community type there. So it's basically like, and you do that because, you know, multiple reasons. Number one, you want to have the strongest impact as you can, and you want to bring on people that are influential and like.
That's gonna be the thing is like yeah. If we did something like that, I would want to bring on like a huge, like, not, I won't say famous, but like a person that
Of
would
interest,
attract the audience. You know what I mean? That'd be like kind of like everybody wants to see us have Bruno Mars on the podcast. Like I'm not saying we're gonna have him, but I'm saying like you know, people would want to see that because
I'm not good enough, guys.
What? What's
going on?
Say what? Where'd you get that from, man? No, but I'm saying
for
like
sure.
I'm saying like, you know, if you're gonna do like an event, definitely like, you know, if you're gonna have 50 people show up, you want to have somebody that people recognize. You know what I mean?
Without a doubt,
Yeah.
for sure. There's no doubt about that, and that's, you know, that's.
I want to know.
another
I want to
subject.
know though, as far as murals go, why is it important for the city? Because I've noticed in the past couple of years, man, there's been a uprising in murals. They've been like all downtown.
I love
It's
it.
like, you know, and it's dope. But why is it important?
Okay, well, there's a lot of reasons. I mean, number one, America is still super behind on public art. Huge. I mean, in Europe, they're leaps
Germany
and
and all
bounds ahead of us. And by that I mean with the. It's not only where they're painting full sides of buildings and those kind of things, but the people there are more embracing the creative side of the expression side of it. So a lot of the stuff that we're doing is custom for a commission, right? So it's like, I want a palm tree and a whatever. It doesn't, you know, whatever they want is what we're painting. But these, in Europe and stuff like that, I mean, there's still some stuff here too. I don't want to say too bad about America, but Las Vegas definitely isn't there yet. But
It's a baby city.
But yeah, you know, I think that getting to the point where we can allow artists to express what they want on a giant canvas like that, like Europe is doing, like you'll see some walls in Europe and you're like, I can't believe they let them put that across this giant building. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying that it's very unique, a piece that is only going to speak to a small amount of people. You know what I mean? But it's 200 feet big. It's huge. You know what I mean? And we're still unfortunately stuck in the place where the only people that are getting those types of jobs now are people that are already famous. So I think there's an issue, and I think that's an issue. I think that if I was able to curate Life is Beautiful or something like that artistically, like mural wise, which I would love to do, they have Just Kids Official, which does a great job, but since they have the means to bring in who they want and represent art in our city and or in a certain way. I think that, you know, there's so many amazing artists in the world that would love to come here and paint in those murals, and we have multiple people that are being reproduced. So there's like 3 or 4 pieces by one artist down there. You know what I mean? And that just doesn't seem to like.
Yeah, I was always
sense.
wondering that. I was like, why don't they change up the artists?
I mean, and they do. They change them out once a year, once every couple of years, but different pieces. But I think the importance, back to your question, the importance of that is just the more that you see art, the more you think artistically and you start looking at things differently and you start recognizing like, man, like maybe that'll spark something in you to create. You know what I mean? And
I mean, just imagine if you walked down the street and every wall was gray.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Imagine that.
Corporate America. Sorry.
there's a great artist that he's a European
Can you
artist.
imagine, like, if
he put on it, you know, like, because people always buff buff graffiti, cover graffiti with gray. They almost usually use gray because gray covers well, right? It covers over the paint well. So that's why you see like long walls with like blocks of gray in them, you know? People are like covering graffiti, but gray covers well. So this guy in Europe, I forget his name, he goes and he tags on top of them with like stencil letters and like, what's so great about gray? ? You know, like that's just clever, you know what I mean? Because you see it everywhere, and it's just like an interesting like observation. Or he'll do like, he has a wall that's just completely white, and he just paints this wall intentionally left blank. Like, have you ever seen that in like like a professional, like some sort of packet or IRS papers or something? The last page, it just says this page, like, you know what I mean? It's just
it's like a whole white page.
and it says that on there.
Yeah.
This page, intentionally. So, you know, there's a lot of creative freedom with that kind of the more vandal side of street art, which is never going to end.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think a lot of people do get a little weird about legal walls, and they get like, oh, you guys only do legal walls. And I work with a lot of people that do illegal walls, but I'm not talking about it.
Right.
Why would I?
Yeah.
You know, why would I? 90% of the people that paint with us, that paint murals with us, are either graffiti writers currently, or they were, and they're now professional artists, and then they either moved on from it or maybe they have kids and they don't want to go to jail. you know, they don't want to get caught up in it anymore. They already have, or whatever it is. You know what I mean? But
so how about all these? Because ISI as a company, you guys hire out all these different artists to work on projects with you guys as well, right?
Yeah.
What is the process of that? Like, do before you hire somebody on to help you out on a mural or do a mural, do they have to have any kind of license or what is required of them?
No, generally, I mean, we basically have a team now. You know what I mean? We have a roster that we pull from that we book for certain jobs. If it's something that's very open ended, like if it's like, okay, we have this 600-foot wall or something huge and we want, X, Y, and Z, and I'm like, well, you know what, our local team is just not going to be able to handle it, or we're too tied up in other things, and I can outsource, and I have that ability mostly because of social media and our reputation. I have connections all over the world now. Also, my brother runs an art page called Art Collective, which has 1 million followers. It's a big page.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
Nice.
art_collective. My brother Brad. And I'm wearing his shirt.
Is that on Facebook?
I'm wearing his shirt right now. I'm not sure. I think he does have a Facebook.
Website?
It's on IG.
Okay,
IG.
Got it.
Yeah, and so that thing, and I've been helping him with that, and that really branches out our reach a lot as far as like who we can work with. You know what I mean? But generally, as far as like back to your question is, if depending on what the job entails, like if it's like we have a very intricate piece that's super straight lines and difficult and tedious, you know what I mean, I may have an artist that's better for that, or if someone that's you want an illustrated girl face, okay, I got an artist that's right for that. So it's the jobs are catered to the people that fit them. We want to give the best product to the client, so that's super important. Every job that we do, we want to be proud of and walk away from and put it in our portfolio, and also put it in the artist portfolio. And I think that's kind of the way that we started branding ourselves, or calling ourselves like an agency of underground arts is what like I kind of claimed it, because we work with only underground, we work with independent artists. You know what I mean?
Do you guys have an LLC?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, because that would be one of the things too.
Yeah.
Like if somebody was to be painting a mural and then they fail or whatever, you guys would be covered under the LLC.
Yeah. We have and insurance and all that stuff, and we pay taxes and all that BS.
I kind of want to touch back on something that we talked about earlier, which is tattoos. And I don't know why, man. It's just been in the back of my head lately. But I'm thinking like, tattoo artistry has been a big thing, in the past, decades, forever, right?
Centuries.
At what point do you think that artificial intelligence is gonna start doing tattoos, where it's like you walk into a shop, they use laser scans to scan your body, and then it does, like, how like
that's hilarious that I've never thought of that.
I just thought about it too.
100% gonna happen,
right?
100%.
Like for example, like right now,
without a doubt,
the process of getting that tattoo is they kind of outline it with a kind of ink, right? So that when they're drawing it,
it's a stencil. Yeah,
it's a stencil, right? So a computer can do that,
and think
digitally with AR.
When you have like a machine where you stick your arm in.
So here's the issue with that. This is like okay. When you're a human and you're working with another human, you have a give and take, right, with movement, right? A machine's not gonna. You would probably have to be under anesthesia for them to get tattoo on a machine, because if you move your arm and that machine's not in the right spot, you know what I mean? It's not the same. When you're working with a human and you're touching that person's arm and you're moving that person's arm, you're pulling the skin to tattoo and all that.
Yeah.
A machine doing that, I mean, obviously at some point, yes, AI will be that scary that it can do this.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, to get to that point, people would probably need to be under, like almost like a surgeon. You know what I mean? Like if you're gonna get work, because so why is there not doctors?
But let me ask
that's gonna happen to doctors,
right?
Too.
But let me ask you this question: like, what if they could put like these little things on their head where like the machine can read the amount of pain that you're in, and if it goes past a certain level, it automatically.
What are you smoking?
Yeah. Like,
I need some of that.
Look, man, I don't know if you know, but you know, like those farms where they do like those automated fruit picking and things like that. Oh yeah. There's a machine, and I know you saw this. I saw this artificial intelligence. Like it's literally grabbing a whole bunch of berries or potatoes or some kind of fruit or vegetable that's very small, and it's literally dumping it into a pot. And there's an artificial intelligence machine that can infrared read the pigmentation on each one. And if any fruit or vegetable is of the wrong shade of color, it sends out like a kicker that kicks them out of the way so they don't fall into the pot. And you're talking about
milliseconds,
50,000 grains of.
here's my issue with all that. I mean, that's my issue with the whole artificial intelligence thing is, so the point of technology, right?
Yeah.
The reason that when technology is invented is to better our lives and to free up our time from doing monotonous things such as the little thing that vacuums your house or whatever that thing's called. Roomba. So you know what I mean? That's what the actual technological advances are supposed to be for. Now we're completely off that target. We're just
now it's like getting rid of things that
now
are.
we're going to start destroying jobs in the economy, and then it's not going to benefit us.
I'll give you an example.
That's an issue,
right? Like the internet was a great way of connecting us all together, but like at one point, the artificial intelligence, like we get so lazy that now we don't even want to hold down our fingerprint to read the scanner. Now it's just looks at our face and it unlocks the phone for us.
I mean, I think some of that. I think some of that is also just them wanting to do new shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The stuff that happens, like look at Instagram and Facebook that just change shit for no reason, and it's just so that you're like, fuck, they have a new thing to change, and then you're re-interested in what they're doing.
Yeah.
What you just said there's nothing. You know what I'm saying? It was completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're never gonna put that effort into something that actually matters, like curing AIDS or cancer or something like that.
No.
You know, because all that shit makes them too much money. So.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's always gonna be the things that are like, oh, it's a convenience. Oh, your iPhone is now 3 times faster.
Yeah,
4 times faster.
Yeah,
you know
it's crazy. Technology and there's so many fucked. I just had a baby.
Oh, so congratulations!
That kind of stemmed into this because I was thinking about how fucked up the world is.
Yeah,
and I just had a baby girl. And
shout out to Dana.
Isla Blue is her name.
Isla Blue?
Isla Blue, yep.
Nice, that's a unique name. How do you spell it? ISLA?
Yeah, Isla. Which a lot of people say, but it's actually Scottish.
Oh, nice.
It's a river in Scotland. So a lot of people are like, oh, you're pronouncing it wrong. I'm like, it's a name.
How do you feel about like those babies who are being born now and they stick them with a little chip that can track them?
I think it's a step in a scary direction.
You know what? That seems to be the recurring consensus around here, man. Everybody always thinks like that's like the mark of the devil. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
I mean, me and my wife, we did home birth.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we went through a midwife. I want to shout them out because they're so dope. Serenity Birth Center. It's here in Vegas. Sarah Slobody was our midwife, and so we never went to the doctor once.
I gotta ask.
What's
a midwife?
A
midwife.
See, this is crazy. See, this shouldn't be. You guys should know what this is. Not saying that it's not taught properly in America.
Yeah.
So, a midwife is the person that's been giving birth for centuries, helping women give birth for centuries. You know what I mean? Way far before the medical side. So the medical side, the health side of, or whatever you want to call it, medical industry, giving birth is pretty new. It's within the last 100 years.
Yeah.
So it was very medieval when it started.
No, you're kind of talking about the epidurals that are being given, right?
Yeah, all sorts of shit, man. I mean, I've learned way more than I ever thought I would learn because I was going to these classes with the midwife, and it was so hands on, and they cared so much, and it was just so genuine and real, and we had no complications, and they were there for every single step of the way. Like I literally had not one negative thing to say. I'm so happy that was the way we went.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was dope. We did a water birth in my living room in a tub.
So
yeah,
you guys rented a tub?
It was part of the center. The midwife brings it. You know what I mean? It's a whole part of the process.
So a midwife is like a guide,
it's kind of like it's kind of like someone to be there for you, and they're extremely knowledgeable about everything. You know what I mean? And if there was some sort of scary incident or thing that started to happen, then they would know what to do or to time to go to the hospital for something that's whatever.
Yeah, because I heard some people like get diabetes while they're. You ever hear that?
Diabetes from what?
They get forms of like almost getting diabetes and stuff and other things
at the hospital
just because they're getting something with birth.
With the drugs that they're giving them?
Yeah, probably.
I mean, I've now that I've done this and I've watched documentaries and
talk about conspiracies, Chuck.
I love it. I love that shit. We don't want to open that door. We'll be here all night,
bro. Yeah,
we've done it a few times.
I got that bottle of tequila. I'm ready. It's so funny. Whenever I take Lyft, whenever I'm like coming home from like going out, and I'm like usually like I've smoked a little bit and I've drank a little bit. I love talking about that shit.
Oh yeah,
and I love talking. I love talking to Lyft drivers and
it's fun.
I love it. And they're generally pretty fucking cool. Like, you know what I mean? It's pretty. Usually know right away.
Can you imagine just being in a Lyft and just getting in 2 minutes into the drive? You go, hey driver, John, do you think your car is bugged?
Oh my God.
And then they go, well, what are you talking about?
No, usually we get into. I mean,
They go, no. If my car's never been bugged, and you go, when's the last time you checked?
Yeah, usually,
That's kinda tight.
usually,
Freak 'em out.
yeah, usually we get into like some religious conversations or some shit like that. I think it's a super interesting thing. You know what I mean? To talk about.
Yeah, people are just interesting to talk to, man.
Yeah.
That's why we love this podcast, because it's like you never know what somebody might be super. Like you brought us the midwife thing.
Yeah,
that
I
would have
think-
never came
dude,
out.
I-
But we
Yeah.
never talked about artificial
Never heard of it.
intelligence.
You know, I really think that that people that are gonna have kids or whatever really look into it. It's just a different experience. It's much more hands on, and my baby came out with no drugs and no anything in her, and she's thriving without ever being to a doctor. So, and I just think that there's a natural way to do things, and there's nothing wrong with that. And people should embrace it a little bit more.
Yeah.
And there's so much corporate like money things that are govern the way we live our lives, and that's a lot of the health industry is bullshit. And they're force feeding these things to you through commercials, through scare tactics, through a lot of things, So people are, I've told that to people many times, like, oh, we did a home birth, and people are like, oh my God, you did it. Oh, you guys are crazy. And I'm like, how do you think kids were fucking born since the dawn of man? You know what I mean? It's a normal thing.
Well, childbirth is just something that's so intense.
It is. It was
that
fucking intense for sure.
It's one of the most intense things in the world.
My wife killed it.
As far as when it comes to
She killed
pain,
it.
she's definitely got to,
Dude, 7 hours, man.
because
no drugs.
You're not doing any drugs, right? Like now, women kind of like expect it. Like that's a thing that know. I don't want to have a kid without that numbing sensation.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, that's the problem. That's the scare tactic. They've taught you, and the hospitals are getting kickbacks from these pharmaceutical companies.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
people would be people are very ignorant to the fact that, like, yeah, you don't think that this person that's doing C-sections, the people that all the drugs that they need for these certain procedures aren't getting something slid in their back pocket at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So yeah, and then
we watched our fair share of documentaries.
And then you get the more Hollywood side of it, where it's like people are scheduling C-sections and stuff. You know what I mean? People are like, oh yeah, I'm giving birth on Thursday. I'm going to get a C-section. It's like, you realize that shit fucks up your stomach for the rest of your life. Like,
does it?
Oh yeah, scars. You can never get rid of the fat around it. There's a lot of issues with C-section.
Whoa.
It's a real surgery. You
And
know
the
what I mean?
C-section, just to let the people know, it's just like where they cut.
Yeah, they cut. It's just like to the, I believe it's the right side of your abdomen here.
Just so that it comes out
It's an
easier.
incision. Yeah, it basically just it's supposed to be a last. It's supposed to be a last resort. You know what I mean? It really is.
Yeah, if the baby can't come out or
yeah,
something.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a last resort.
I'm grateful I'm a dude.
So real
and never
quick
got
too,
put up-
100%.
last question is,
Yeah, on that.
why is it in the water? What's the whole process? It makes
It's
it
a
easier?
transition, right?
Yeah, it's a smooth transition for the baby. It also gives a little bit of weightlessness to the woman. So
Got it.
they're a little bit less pressure on their belly and on their whole body. And there's a large misconception on the way that babies should be born. You shouldn't give birth on your back. It makes no sense. It just doesn't.
Upwards?
You need gravity. If you look at around the
makes
world,
sense.
women give birth crouching, squatting, because it's the way that the weight of your baby.
Like
is gonna
animals,
pull
you
it.
see them do
Yeah,
that all the time.
100%. So it's just a.
So on your back, it takes longer and it hurts more.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
kind of makes sense though.
Damn.
Yeah, and that's why, like, I mean, try not to get graphic. I mean, that's why women end up like shitting themselves and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, I
because
heard about that.
they're pushing really hard, and they're sitting in this position where they're not even really using the right muscles, and it's just an interesting thing.
This podcast took a turn.
It did.
Babies.
It did. No, it's you know what? I think it's cool. I think it's something that should be talked about. And I think that people need to understand that it's okay to look into things like this and read some books and watch some documentaries and understand what you're getting yourself into. I mean, obviously having a child is a whole different thing. Now it's difficult, man. I have so much respect for especially single parents, man. Holy shit.
Oh yeah.
It's luckily me and my wife both work for ourselves. My wife's a professional belly dancer.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so she teaches at our studio, which I haven't. My office basically has another studio attached to it, which is like a workshop, like boutique type space.
Where's
like
that at?
people can rent
Downtown?
it out. Yeah, it's in the Arts District.
Arts
It's on
District,
Western and Oki. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on Western Oki, like right down the street from
nice.
like Acres Cannabis
Yeah,
and like
yeah,
all
right
that
there.
like right there. And so we have a dance studio in there, but it's kind of like a multi-function space. Like if someone wants to rent it out, it's called Zenden LV.
Zenden.
So yeah, so that's another kind of side business that we have. So she teaches in there, and she does performances and travels, and and teaches seminars and that kind of thing. So I'm sure that had a little bit of help with the pregnancy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I kind of want to get back on topic.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Because we are coming up at 45-minute mark.
We didn't talk about anything.
I'm telling you, these podcasts is so hard for us to keep them at under hour thing.
Yeah, it's very hard.
And I'm like, how many things do I want to talk about,
bro? And the thing is, when you have the headphones on, you're listening to yourself talking, you can go on for a while. You know what I mean? So I kind of have to play the bad guy here and keep us on track.
No, that we got definitely way off track.
So we've talked about the murals, the whole business side of it, but let's talk about the safety precautions. Are there any safety precautions that you have to undergo before doing a mural?
I mean, we're OSHA certified, so it's like you just have to take a class, and that's only if you need a lift. You know what I mean? And then other than that, it's like
a lift being like that machine that...
Yeah, like a boom or whatever you want to call it, like a scissor lift to get you into a certain position, which you don't use all the time unless you need it. And then the other thing you really need is permitting. But I think, I do think that there's a ton of walls out there. There's a ton of walls out there that people can paint. And there's a lot of people that ask me, I want to do a wall. How do I get on a wall? And I'm like, well, you're probably not ready for a professional paid commission wall like that we have, unless they are, then that's fine. They probably have already done it before. Yeah. But for someone that hasn't done it, go knock on some doors, man. There's walls. There's walls out there, man. It's there. It takes that initiative. You know what I mean? Like you might have to do some free stuff for a while. And we did stuff for free. We've done a lot of stuff for free. I've lost a lot of money on things. Done a lot of events for free. I've done a whole lot of things that didn't pan out the way I wanted to do. But at the end of the day, you take a good picture, you put it in your portfolio, and you use that to market yourself on the next one.
Boom.
You know what I mean?
Genius.
Yeah. I mean that's just the way. That's the way. If you want to do something and you want to get to wherever your goal is, you need to work. You got to work at it. There's a lot of work that people don't see that we do. There really is. It's a lot of time and consulting with people and getting the right thing done before it ever touches the wall. Yep. And that goes with events too. Mm-hmm. We haven't even really talked about events. Can we talk about events?
I was gonna say, because you have residency, right?
Yeah. So we had the beauty bar residency that's no longer there. That one's gone. Rest in peace, beauty bar.
R.I.P.
Then we have Container Park once a month, which is the second Sunday. It's basically like a mini First Friday.
Okay.
So it's like we have like 15 to 20 different vendors. It's similar to Market in the Alley. We started a little bit before they did, I believe. But we're just doing pop-ups with individual independent artists and I guess creators. So people that do jewelry or clothing or whatever it is. And then we have live musicians on stage. Usually we have kid acts too because it's an all ages venue. So we have like School of Rock, which is a music school here in the city that teaches kids. And it's so cool because I
remember B-Rose talking about it.
Yeah, she's dope. Yep. She's really, really good. So we did some murals for them years ago. So I kind of opened a relationship with them. And it's so cool because those kids are playing like Pink Floyd and like Led Zeppelin. And it's so cool because it's like this is stuff that they might not be listening to or take the time to learn, and like it's teaching them history and music, music history and all that kind of thing, so it's really cool. So we do a lot with them. Sometimes we have like my wife and her belly dance girls will come out and do their thing, or have like tap dance groups. Like I kind of keep it pretty loose. And then we have Cut a Rug, which is the new B-boy show now that Off the Wall is gone. We do Cut a Rug at Gold Spike. That's the third Thursday of the month, every month. So we do Cut a Rug inside. That's hosted by Arturo.
Cut a Rug.
MP Art, I should say. MP Art, Cut a Rug, third Thursdays. And then in the back we have Downtown Playground. We kind of like we had the whole building, right? So we were like we need to activate both spaces because of that giant backyard. Which we've done some murals and stuff back there too. So we did Downtown Playground because they have those big games out there, and we're like, okay, well we'll invite our art community to come out and paint with us and sell product and sell their art and kind of just be out there to meet new people and that give them a vending opportunity. So that's accompanied with Cut a Rug. And then other than that, we do a show every 2 months called Lost Vaudeville, which is an amazing show. You guys got to come to Lost Vaudeville. Lost Vaudeville stands for The Variety. Vaudeville was the original form of entertainment prior to TV. So vaudeville was like variety acts, basically. People would come to a theater and they didn't know what they were going to see. They're going to see a freak, and they're going to see a comedian, and they're going to see like a Charlie Chaplin kind of like quiet, like
it's a variety show.
So we were going. I was going to a bunch of different things with my wife now, since she's a belly dancer. There's belly dance, like there's called Hoflas. They're like groups of shows with women that belly dance, and then there's like magic shows and things that they usually kind of filter together. There's like a little bit of belly dance in this show. There's a little bit of magic and whatever. And I was just like, man, I like this show, but I really think I could do it. I want to do one. Yeah. So, we that's kind of the cool thing about like the creative process of the events is that we do everything. We come up with the name, we come up with the branding, we come up with the flyers, we come up with all the content, all the curation of bringing the different DJs or bands or artists or comedians or whatever it may be. And that's like, that's always kind of been like I feel like that was like my art, was the creative side of it. It was like creating the right environment and atmosphere to make it make sense for everyone. So Lost Vaudeville is a really, really dope show. It's every 2 months, and it's at Bunkhouse.
Dope, man.
Yeah, vaudeville is sick. You guys got it.
Man, that's a shit ton
That
of
sounds like
events.
fun, man.
Yeah,
have you ever reached out to Nothing to Do LV?
Yeah, we do a lot. We do a lot with Nothing to Do. Yeah,
Okay,
Nothing to
cool.
Do. Yeah, we do a ton with them. We do a ton with, like I said, with NPR and Coco, and nothing but love for those guys. They fucking kill it. That concept. Right away when they came out with it, I was like, dude, that's great.
Yeah.
It's great. It's a lot of work too. So props to them.
Yes.
To stay
shout out to them.
up on that and stay up on that and also give that like equality too. Like they'll put a house show on there. You know
They'll
what I
put a
mean?
bondage
It's
show
so
on there.
dope. I
A
like
bondage
it.
show.
Yeah.
That's great. I know. I saw that. I was like, damn, is this like borderline like sketchy? Let's teach people how to like torture people.
Oh wait, are you talking about like the where they
up.
show you how to tie people up and
Yeah.
stuff?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. He's like, I'm down.
Interesting.
He's there.
Yeah.
It's every,
And you said it's on Thursday?
Yeah. So come if you can make it out to any of the shows, they're all free to the public. Actually, no, that's not true. Lost Vaudeville is $10, but it's worth it, and that's really cheap for
It's a
what it
variety
is.
show, man.
Yeah, it has 12 acts. So there's two.
And it's a local show, right?
It's local. Yeah. I do have. Sometimes I'll have a headliner that's traveling or something, like who's coming through, or comedians. Sometimes comedians are hard to book, man. It's just because who am I to say what the fuck's funny?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if I think something's funny doesn't mean you think it's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
true.
So I,
You know what? We're trying to get a
I have
couple of comedians on here, bro.
Yeah, trying.
Oh,
But it's
yeah, yeah.
hard to find. Like we actually were talking to one of the guys who performs with Fluffy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We saw him
He's
at the
pretty
MGM.
funny.
Bro, he's hilarious.
Because he has like this,
He's already agreed to do the show, but it's like getting him on his schedule because he's traveling constantly. So the time that he's in Vegas is really only when he does the show with Fluffy at MGM.
Yeah.
So trying to coordinate schedules is like, you know. But
definitely.
yeah, 100%. I agree with you. It's hard to book a comedian because they're usually
certain
working
things
all
are
the time.
difficult. Certain things you can look at and it's a little more black and white. What's good and what's not good.
Yeah.
There's a gray area with certain things. You know what I mean? And even with music, but usually with music, you're like, all right, quality is quality. You know what I mean? And that's the
Yeah.
same thing with art and stuff like that. But trying to think of what other good project. We have a lot of stuff coming up, man. Oh, well, you know what we're doing? We're doing the Stratosphere. So now it's called the Strat.
Ooh.
The Strat.
Now it's called the Strat.
Yeah.
Are you doing like the inside of it or
So
painting
we're
or
not
an
painting
event?
it. We're doing a live art auction on the 108th floor on the observation deck. Like
Okay.
not the outside one, the
Yeah.
inside one.
Now, when
Right.
you say live art auction, you mean somebody paints it live
Yeah,
and then they sell it?
it's
then,
actually
right?
we have 20. It was supposed to be 15,
Right.
but now it's 21 because I kept saying yes to homies that wanted to do it. And there's some
So
real.
is it kind of like a David Garibaldi kind of thing?
No, it's a slower process.
Okay.
It's more like they come with a piece already started. We give a theme. That's what our original shows were, these themes.
Yeah.
So this show is it's called Vegas Made, so it's just Vegas oriented. So it's just we need to give them something to paint towards. So they come with something started. They work on it live. They finish it live. Each one of them has a corresponding auction sheet with their.
Damn, this phone keeps
I know,
falling,
right?
bro.
Scaring
Jesus,
me.
Keem.
It has an auction. They have a silent auction sheet next to their piece, or on a table with their number, a coordinating number to their piece. So people put bids on their painting and buy their painting, and then they buy it directly from the artist. So when someone bids on this, and it's like, okay, Keem wins number 15 or whatever. Mm-hmm. You come to me, I give you this paper, you take it to the artist, and you guys deal it. So that way you're getting connection with the artist. You're opening a door to maybe get tattooed by that person or buy a commission painting
that's dope.
or whatever. It's kind of giving you an introduction, and hopefully that this transpires into being something more
Man,
lucrative.
that's so dope.
More
That's
lucrative
super
for the
dope.
artists. We always wanted to make sure that we were getting this art in the hands of people that are collectors or people that are new to buying art. And they're always very reasonably priced. The bids start at $150, and they go up to whatever people go to, but they rarely go higher than like 500. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And some of these pieces once they leave this auction are going to go, if they aren't bought, they're going to go in a gallery and they're going to quadruple in price.
Yeah.
That's just the way it's going to go, because people are here and they're already willing to let their piece go for $150 because that's the bare minimum. So if you go there and you bid 200, then no one bids on it above you, you got it. You know what I mean? So they're already willing to do that for this show, and it's just a great community thing. That's the one we've been doing since 2011. And we haven't done it in over a year. So this one, now it's at the Strat. It's super high up, elevated. We're doing it during sunset hour, which is dope. So it's from 7 to 11. So you'll get the whole sunset view of the city.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's rad. So
That'd be tight.
yeah, it's really dope. So that's the 28th, June 28th. And that's 7 to 11. It's actually $25, but it's free if you just RSVP to vegasmadeartauction at Gmail. So if you just send your first and last name to vegasmadeartauction at Gmail, it's free.
Yeah, you'll have to send me the link.
Yeah.
That way I can put it in the description for the bio.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, because when we did it, we wanted the show to be free, you know, and then they were like, well, it's $25 to just get up there. Yeah. And I was like, oh shit, it is, you know, being,
damn, I didn't even know.
Yeah, see, being locals, we don't really go there, you know what I mean? Every once in a, never basically.
Never, because you didn't know.
But, yeah, a lot of people. So I was like, okay, well, that's cool. Like, can we meet in the middle somewhere? Can you give me a guest list? Can you whatever? So they're giving us a 200-person guest list. So
Ooh,
so
nice.
200. So the first 200 people that RSVP can get in free.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's tight.
You guys heard it here first.
Yeah, it's gonna be dope. It's gonna be a really
So if
cool.
you just want to see the top and see some dope art, man.
Yeah. I mean,
that's
and
tight.
you can go to the top and go on a ride if you want. Jump off the fucking building if you want. They tried to get me to do that.
I
It was
can't
funny.
do that, man.
It was so funny.
I'm too concerned about my life.
I was like, I want to do that sometime. The lady's like, you want to do it right now? I was like, whoa, I'm not ready. You can't just throw me.
I just had a kid.
Yeah, I gotta have some mental time to saturate on that for a minute.
I think we kind of hit all the points that I kind of wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
But before we wrap, because we are hitting the 1 hour mark now.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you want to kind of let people know where they can find you, ISI
Yeah.
group, your personal Instagram, kind of, you know?
Yeah, for sure. If you want to keep up on all the things that ISI Group does, it's the_ISI_group on Instagram. Instagram's the best way to keep up with what we do because it's daily posts of art, community events, cultural things, dance events, musicians, DJs, artists, and a lot of different things that you can find out what we're doing ongoing. Other than that, if you just want to see a lot of dope art, then do art_collective, which is mine and my brother's IG page. That's just an art share page. So it's just artists from around the world.
Dope, man.
Yeah.
Dope. Thank you for joining us on the podcast, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we kind of came cross paths on Instagram and kind of talked about
man.
it.
No, I wanna
started
thank you
seeing your
guys,
work.
yeah.
We wanted to have you on and kind of talk about it. And I wish we had longer, but it's like I said, it's so easy to hit that 1 hour.
100%.
Easily.
But people want to see those 30-minute episodes. We're at an hour, so we know.
No, I appreciate you guys a lot, man.
Yeah,
Really,
thank you
I
so much,
sincerely
man.
appreciate it.
But thank you for joining us, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll put your information down in the description down below. All those links, make sure you send them to me on email so I can put them on there.
Anybody hit me up if you're interested in knowing more, or if you have questions, or if you're a client and you want a mural, or even homes. We do in-home installation and stuff too.
Boom,
So a
there you
lot
go.
of different things. So don't be afraid to reach out, and you can contact me directly on the Instagram, or my business partner Philip Lamone that was not here today. He would be a dope host or a guest too if you guys are interested. Completely different story than me, background. So I appreciate you guys.
Of course,
Catch
man.
you on the flip side.
Thank you for
so much,
joining
bro.
us, and everybody who's tuning in on the video on YouTube, or if you're just listening to the podcast on iTunes. Thank you for tuning in. We'll catch you guys in the next morning dinner.
Every time I come in the kitchen, you in the kitchen. In the goddamn refrigerator.
I hope you guys liked that video that we did with Dana Anderson. We got more episodes coming up. We do an episode every week, so every Saturday we try to drop a new episode. Once again, don't forget to like. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Click that like button, smash that like button, throw a couple bananas at it. Drop a comment if you like this episode and let us know what you like.
Smash that like button.
You gonna cut me out before I finish?
Smash that subscribe button.
There you go.
We need those more than them likes.
Yeah.
And please ring that
We
bell.
need the analytics.
Ooh,
We need the analytics, guys. We need to hit 1,000 subscribers. That's my goal.
Yeah.
What's your goal? I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers this year, bro. We just hit 500.
I'm just happy to be here.
He was like, I'm just happy we keep hanging out, bro.
This is the only time we get to hang out. So,
But yeah, click that
please.
like button, subscribe, and let us know down in the comments down below which was your favorite part of the podcast. Or if you guys have any suggestions for who you want to see on the show, drop a comment down below, and we'll see you for show.